Hi, my name is Crystal Prasad, and I am recording my simulated lesson for a first grade lesson plan. So I decided to do this video over Zoom because I thought it'd be easier to share my screen and show you what I would be teaching. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen. So this would be a first grade lesson plan for the sequence of events using the book The Three Little Pigs. So I prepared a little PowerPoint. So sequence of events for Three Little Pigs. So this lesson aligns with the first grade Common Core standards, which are ask and answer questions about key details in a text, retell stories including key details and demonstrating understanding of their central message or lesson, and describing characters, settings, and major events in the story using key details. So, my lesson objective would be for students to identify the beginning, middle, and ending of the story using the book The Three Little Pigs. And then students will be able to demonstrate listening skills as they recall events and characters in the story. So, the way that I would launch the lesson if I was in the classroom would be I would have all my students seated around me and I would tell them that we were continuing to practice on sequence of events. So I would tell them that yesterday we worked on sequence of events using the story There Was an Old Lady Who Swallowed the Fly, and today we're going to be reading the book, The Three Little Pigs, and we're going to be putting the events in order. So then I would ask them, can someone remind me what the word sequence means? And I would repeat that word so that they would understand. And I would have them raise their hands and then they would tell me what the word sequence means. And I would write it on the board. And then I would tell them that it's the order that the event takes place. And then to further provide and help them with the lesson, I would show them these two anchor charts. So if I wasn't virtual right now, I would have two, or if I was in the classroom, I would have made the charts myself. But these are two really great charts that I saw online that I borrowed from online. Which would show, see, the first one I would go over with them and say sequence is the order that something happens in a story. So just like how we did the lesson yesterday, first, the old lady swallowed a fly. Next, the old lady swallowed a spider. Then she swallowed a dog. And then last, she swallowed a horse and died. And then I would review putting things in order, the order of events in a story. So really to make sure that the students understand the first, next, finally, the beginning, middle, and ending of a story. So first, initially the begin, middle, next, later. Those are just some keywords that students could think about when I'm reading the story and reading that book out loud to them. That helps them think, what happened in the beginning, middle, ending of the story. So after the launch, I'd go on to the read aloud. So let's begin the read aloud. While we're reading, pay attention to the order that events happen in the story. So I'd remind all my first graders to pay attention to the order. Oopsie, pay attention to the order that events happen in the story. I'll be pausing throughout the read aloud and asking questions to make sure that everyone understands what is happening in the story. So I actually don't have the book on me right now, but I did find a PDF version to the book that I will be sharing for this lesson. So the Three Little Pigs. The Three Little Pigs. So I begin, I'd read the first part of the story. So once upon a time, there was three little pigs that lived in a small house with their mom. One day, their mom sent them off to build houses on their own. As they walked down the road, the first little pig met the farmer pulling a cart with straw. It looked very warm, just right for building a house. He asked if there could be some. The farmer agreed, and the first little pig began to build his own straw house. And then I'd continue on to the second part. A little way down, the second little pig saw a woodcutter and a cart of sticks that looked long and thick, just right for building a house. And he, of course, the woodcutter agreed. And the pig began to build his wooden house. So, especially this page over here, I would be like stopping and asking to make sure that they understand what sequence of events are. So, can anyone tell me which little pig, what happened in the beginning of the story? And then to help them, I would give them like some guiding questions such as, what house did the first pig build? Or what house did the second pig build? And then when we finally get to the ending of the story where I continue on to when the pig builds a bricks, I'd be like, what pig what pig built the brick house? Was it at the beginning of the story or the ending of the story? And then when we were talking about the big bad wolf, I would like cue them and say, did this happen at the ending of the story or the beginning of the story? Just so students can understand like, the order of events the sequence of events that the are happening in the story. So I would continue. The wolf was soon at walk. at the house made of sticks. He knocked on the door. Well, if there were students here, they'd be raising their hand and I'd be pausing throughout the video, throughout the lesson. The wolf soon saw the brick house, knocked on the door. I huff and I puff and I'll blow the house down, roared the wolf in the loudest voice. And then splash, big bad. But the big bad wolf was so big, what a surprise. They're like have been making soup. So we would just get to the ending of the story and I'd read the whole story, pausing throughout the lesson, throughout the story to make sure, asking questions, assessing my students informally to see if they were understanding the parts of the book or understanding the concept of sequence of events. And then stop sharing. And then I would get on to the guided structured practice, which would be, sorry, I have to share, we'll share my screen again, which will be the structured practice. Well, students will be split up into different groups. So I want to give students an opportunity to practice sequence of events. So I'll split them into the group heterogeneously based on different abilities, and they'll work together to complete a sequence of events worksheet based on the three little pigs and to provide differentiation among students because every student is different and they learn differently and they're all at their own levels. I'll provide 3 different worksheets for my struggling, intermediate, and advanced learners that kind of like differentiate what the lesson of the story is, what the goal of the lesson is. Sorry. So I found these really great worksheets online that I actually had used for one of my during student teaching, and the students loved it. So, and it worked out really well. So the Three Little Pigs picture story sequence. So this one would be the students would have to cut the images out and stick them in the correct order on the next page. So I'd provide them with both the worksheets, and they would do which one do they think happens at the beginning of the story, the ending, or the middle of the story. I would also have the book still up on the smartboard, or I'd pass the book around for students to see so that we can remember, so they can remember the different parts of the story. So glue the story pictures in the correct order. And this is another differentiated worksheet. This one would be for more of like my struggling learners, and this one would be for more like intermediate learners because they would provide like the second pill builds a house of sticks, the big bad wolf, depending on their reading ability. Because I know this is first grade students. So depending on their reading ability, they would cut and glue either the pictures or they can cut and glue the words. What would happen first, second, third, beginning, middle, and ending. And they would glue it right in here. And then for my more advanced learners, students would glue the story pictures in the correct order. And then additionally, right, if they're really advanced, write a description of what's happening in each picture to say like, okay, the wolf in this picture is blowing the house down, or the pigs are fine, they finally got away in this picture. So just really making sure that I differentiate the lesson and catering to all my different students in the classroom. And then to close off the lesson, I would conclude by asking the students, what did we learn in today's lesson? I would ask them if they could tell me again what sequence of events is. And then I would ask them, why do you think it's important to know the sequence of events in a story? And then when they provide me with the answer, I'll tell them that it's very important to know the sequence of events because it helps us understand the story better, and we understand what's going on, the characters and events that's happening in the story. And then I'll tell them that they did such a great job because they probably did such a great job if I was teaching this lesson. And I would conclude my lesson, and then I would tell them that we are continuing to work on sequence of events. Then we can get on to character traits and different parts, main idea of the story. And that was my lesson for first grade class. Thank you.